Hello everybody, and welcome back to You've Got 5 Minutes. I don't know if this is going to be a You've Got 5 Minutes actually, I don't know if this is going to be like a Let's Play or whatever, but this is the early access build of Torment, Tides of Numenera. Anybody out there in the know will probably know that this is almost like a sequel, like a spiritual successor to Planescape Torment, designed and like made by the sort of same kind of group of people. I don't know if it's exactly the same team, but yeah, I think all the major players that were in the sort of development of the original Planescape Torment are involved in this as well. So yeah, developed by inXile. Yeah. So again, I don't know if this is going to be a You Got 5 Minutes. I don't know if this is going to be like maybe an extra long You Got 5 Minutes. Maybe it's going to be an hour long or something like that. I don't know. At a stretch, I would say it's probably at least going to be about half an hour. But yeah, we'll just jump in and we'll see where it goes. Maybe this will be an episode 1 of like until the early access build's finished. Maybe it's only going to be one episode. I don't know how I'm going to be feeling at the end of this. So let's just jump in. Nice logo. I like that. No, the font and the swirliness at the sides. And I only played like a little bit of Planescape Torment, but from what I played of it, it was absolutely phenomenal. The depth of choice that you had. It was like it was almost like a isometric RPG version of Deus Ex or something like that. Like you had so much options in terms of dialogue, in terms of like what you could actually do in those dialogues. It was insane. So I'm hoping that you got the same sort of depth in here. And I don't know why it's taking so long to load. Maybe it's crashed. It says not responding at the top of the window here. Oh, now it's working. Okay. There you go. Okay. Some things you should know. Torment character system. When the game starts, you'll be presented with a conversation window. Once it's finished, your character creation process has begun. In the first room, Fathom 13, you'll interact with 3 orbs and experience a memory in each. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. If you don't want to be exposed to any mild spoilers, stop reading here. Okay, so like, if you want to read this, you can pause the video and read it. I'm just going to skip it though. So, okay, let's go. Will you be male or female? I'll just go female. Yeah, just why not? Why the crap not?
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
So we can look at the body or look around. Look around quick.
A fleshy cocoon surrounds you. Even as you look, a minor rent in its side tears open, and the howling wind forces its way inside. The cocoon rips away, gone before you can grab it, spinning you into a dizzying tumble. You are falling, the world many kilometers beneath you. You catch a glimpse of a curved horizon, and also the ground beneath you that is approaching deceptively quickly. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in upon itself. A corona of acid green and black energy playing around its edges. The wind buffets you and burns your eyes, but you don't need to see the details of the faraway ground to know you're in serious trouble. You won't survive a fall from this stratospheric height. A part of your frantic mind babbles that technically you probably fell from a thermospheric height. You struggle to stay focused as the ground rushes toward you.
Right, look at the horizon, flatten out to catch the wind, try to judge how far it is to the ground, or dive towards the ground. Bad idea, mate. Look at the horizon.
You are spinning too rapidly to get a good look. You can see a large landmass, a vast body of water directly below you, and scattered archipelagos, but the detail eludes you. A deep black night is above you, its nocturnal clarity disappearing as the haze of atmosphere envelops you.
Alright. Try to remember what happened.
It's hazy. You were in a tall passageway, its sides slicked with dew, the air warm and moist. as if you were caught in the breath of a giant organism. You remember fleeing in fear and exhilaration, laughing through the terror. What was it that pursued you? Something ancient and cold, its coiling power the promise of oblivion. Its shadowed tendrils struck at you, and the walls where they landed were torn apart utterly, destroyed beyond any hope of repair. You leapt into a membranous cocoon and fell from the station, the moon, and then you were empty. But who were you? What was that creature? A word surfaces in your thoughts, and you seize it before it vanishes. Sorrow. The world fills your sight. You're about to hit.
Right. Tried to stop the fall one last time. Try to remember the sorrow.
Recall, but you push past it, a creature of the forgotten world seeking you out across the centuries. But it's not you it seeks, is it? It sought the man whose memories you shuffle through now, and you realize suddenly that you are not him.
Whoa.
You were... Who? Who were you? If you somehow managed to sidestep everything you know about anatomy, physics, and death, and you were surprised to realize that you do know something about them, and you survived this fall, you suspect that you might be able to reawaken a dormant strength you sense inside you. But who could possibly survive a fall from this height? You remember reaching an escape tube, and you remember being struck by a tendril of force, and then the fall. The fall. You open your eyes in time to see a riot of color around you, your descent barely slowed, and then agony flares throughout your body as a crunching impact destroys you. The last thing you hear is a rapidly cycling line of energy, and then darkness.
Whoa. What an intro. The guy just fell. Okay. You fell. You remember falling towards the curve of the world. The ground leapt up to claim you. Impact. You should be dead. If so, this is a strange death. There is no peace here, and your mind aches, struggling to form simple thoughts. This doesn't seem like death, nor like any kind of life you recognize. Okay. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Man, my computer's like taking off like a jet engine. I'm really sorry about that. I'm going to try and move my microphone away slightly from it. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, splattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for the light, and it needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons. Wasted. So I can either examine the bowl or leave the bowl alone. I'll examine the bowl because there's literally... Is there anything else? What's that? No, can't do anything. Examine the bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to remove this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. So you can carefully move the bowl beneath the liquid, and that... Obviously that... right, okay. It's probably one of these bars here that I'm going to have to expend in order to do that. So I can either examine the bowl again or leave the bowl alone. Examining the bowl again are probably going to give me that same dialogue again, so... Right, okay, what's this? Using might. Impossible and routine. So, alright. So if I don't want to use any of my might, so each level of effort reduces the task's difficulty. So if I put more effort into it, I've more chance of success, right? Okay, that makes sense. So it's only level 1. It's only going to take 2 points off me. So yeah, it did. It took some energy out of my bar at the side there. Success. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool. Fallen light. Okay. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. Oh, look at that. That's totally cool looking. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done to you in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light.
Hello? Oh, sadist. Dead, aren't you? No, that can't be right. If he were dead, I would be too. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who are you? Where are you? Say nothing. I can hear you.
Anything. Are you even there? Well, if you can hear me, it means you're still alive. But you'd already know that, wouldn't you? Look, I'm just going to assume we're both alive and want to stay that way, all right?
Okay.
So here's what you have to do. I can't get to you, so you need to build a way up to me. I don't know how you're going to do that. I mean, this is your mind. It's not like I have a map.
Okay, so we're inside his thoughts then.
This is your mind. I bet your memories
Escape
are
the
down
fathom.
there. Find them, and you'll repair the path up to where I am. Are you there? Talking to myself here.
Right, there's no point shouting at him, and there's no point in bellowing. Like, there's no point in saying anything. There's no point in saying anything, because he's not going to hear.
That thing will find us in no time.
Okay. The voice fades until it passes into inaudibility. Blank, oppressive silence falls, split only by the soft hum of new pylons rising from the depths. I love that effect. That looks so flippin' cool. Like, no wonder my computer's going into overdrive to try and render stuff like that. That looks really cool. Okay, so what do we do then? What? Rippling surface on the bowl shines with its own light. I'm going to leave the bowl alone. I don't know why I mess with that. What's this? The air thickens with each step you take towards the watery orb, and whispering voices flit across one of the countless aching gaps in your mind. This must be one of the memories you were told to find. Two figures swim down through the orb as though it is a fathomless ocean. One vanishes into the ebony depths before you can study it. The other, female, seems to be struggling, or perhaps drowning. You realise that, like the swimmer, you cannot breathe. So you could tear the orb open to release the water within, or rescue the swimmer before she drowns. So this is what's going to expend. So I'm going to use either speed or might. I don't want to use more might, because like I might need that later. So using speed, that's going to use 2 speed as well. So okay, permanently gain 2 to speed pool. Maximum speed pool is now 11. Okay, that's cool. Critical success. You plunge your hand into the orb and catch the tiny swimmer. Surprisingly strong muscles flex against your palm, and the swimmer pulls you through the breach. As she does, you feel faster. Something about this place causes even your smallest choices to shape who you are. As you plunge into the water, a memory floods your mind. Whoa! You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell. A bubble of stale air, your resting point. You've breathed water before and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body is an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires and antennae. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but that is hardly your concern. The mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. Deceive him by telling that you've heard sounds of pursuit. Threaten him until he returns to the task at hand, or this is taking too long. Cast a spell, an esotery, to fix the device yourself. It's taking too long. Okay. You mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from your hands, rewire it, and shove it back to him. Oh, he says, examining your work. Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing. He waves the device at the door, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the water-bordered cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies here. Moments later, you're underwater again, and your hands are closing around a strange artifact that seems somehow familiar. It hovers above a pedestal, writhing and spinning as if alive. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. So you can either run, you can come back for it, they won't be able to protect it forever, disable the sonar pulse, or use a device to stop them, one of the ciphers in your belt. I don't know what the third one means. And they're already in pursuit, so there's no point in disabling the sonar pulse. And this is a memory, so there's no point in running and coming back for it later. So do number 3. You run urgent fingers over the devices fastened to your waist, a fog rising in your mind. A few can be used against the guards, but it will also turn your skin into synth steel or surrounding the water into boiling wax. Hardly ideal. Finally, you find a small silver sphere. Setting the sphere in place, you kick desperately for safety of a nearby alcove. The sphere whirls and unfolds into the spiraling vortex. The sphere at its centre speaks a few polite words in an ancient language, then begins draining the surrounding water into itself with alarming speed. The approaching guards shout and then scream as they too are sucked into the whirlpool and ripped to pieces. Whoa. You allow yourself a fleeting smile, but are all too aware that more alarms are going off in the distance. So it would have been pointless then, eh? So the memory begins to fade as you were being drawn backwards through the tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of the dark, whispering field. Wow. Okay, so I've gained that memory then, and like these pillars are till now there, so... Ooh, right. So let's go over there. Nice. I like the wee bit of animation. I'm running around the corner and that's cool. Nice wee touch. Okay, this memory resembles an eye or masked face. It turns to face you with cold disdain. Mechanisms spin and mesh beneath the gleaming surface, and an ominous ticking begins, getting faster and faster. 2 cold facts emerge from the mental gap in this memory once occupied. The ticking does indeed mean that the device will soon explode, and and you have no one to blame but yourself. The trap is yours, built to protect the memory within. So work swiftly to disable the trap before it explodes, or try to remember how to open the device. Perhaps that will disarm the trap as well. Well, I've used speed, so let's try using intellect now. And we will, yes. Okay, permanently gain 2 intellect pool. Maximum intellect pool is now 11. Success. You focus shutting on the racing ticks. You focus shutting out the racing ticks of the device, and see hands reaching out, gently cupping the sides of the orb like an upturned face. You feel the connections in your mind increasing, strengthening. You touch the orb in the same way, and the mechanisms within grow still as the warmth of the memory races up your arms and into your mind. Ooh. It's doing that thing again, that screen thing. I'm really sorry about the background noise of my PC, folks, by the way. I'm really sorry about that. I don't really have any, the spongy material to, dampen noise or anything like that, so it's essentially me with a microphone on my desk and just recording, so... You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad declivity, a flat-bottomed bowl riven by a wide chasm. Moss-covered arches provide natural ingress and egress for the light, and a broad golden disc gleams up from the floor of the valley. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately, this seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral, Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we've found? So you can draw her attention to the hidden details that your more experienced eye can clearly see. Use your charm to persuade her that the merits of this site, or convince her with wisdom of your superior intellect. Well, those two are just not options. Like, why not just tell her the truth? There's hidden details here. You shade your eyes against the bright sun and you can point out the metals in the bluff, the plentiful game to be found in the area, the solid bedrock beneath the site. She thinks deeply. It's geologically sound? Have you run the sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weaknesses showed up in your resonance scans? She waits for your affirmation and says, "Alright, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch out your plans for Sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend into the valley to determine the open ground. Man, my throat's getting really dry. 2 seconds. I'm going to have to take a little sip of this water. All this talking's totally making my throat dry. Okay. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from the task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? So, I can use the Numenera integrated into the construct's body to overwhelm the behaviour malfunction, examine the construct for mechanical faults, or look for a deeper solution. Perhaps it's an effect of the mystic metals nearby. That sounds good. Right, okay, a fog oozes into the valley as you warp a fibre shielding mesh around the construct's skull. The mesh powers up, protecting the construct's mind from any transdimensional emissions that might be in the area. Taking a deep breath, you repeat your command. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel memory filling the gap in your mind, blocked by a jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. The spectral voice didn't warn you that reclaiming your memories would hurt so much. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one in the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and is hunting you. Whoa. Aye, what's this door? No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from the bronze segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen into place. The light around the door's frame dims and flares, like a roaring fire in a high wind. Countless scratches and wounds mar the surface of this door. Someone made a great effort to get inside, to no avail. Right, okay, there's another one. Let's do this. Your fingers are twitching, your mind races. Each blink sends branching streams of white fire across the inside of your eyelids. You can't deny it. You feel stronger and sharper, more whole than when you landed here. Captive light swirls mockingly beneath the thick surface of the orb before you, obscuring shadows, memories behind it. You will need to calm them somehow if you are to be free of this place and find your companion. Coax the shadows to the front of the glass so you can see them, or crack the orb with your fists. Let's do the fists one. Yeah. Permanently gain 2 might pool. Maximum might pool is now 11. Failure! You dash your knuckles against the orb, bruising the glowing surface, but not breaking it. Even so, you feel that you've become stronger. Shadows flow from the corner of the orb, making the contusions shift and flow, forming images that fill your mind with another memory. Took 1 damage to might pool. No! So, I gained 2 might, and I took 1 damage from might. So, like, it's now 10 then, probably. No? Took 1 damage to might pool. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it only cost me an extra 1 point of might. I don't know. A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city, in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. Blood. Stinking blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get to her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn towards the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from the hovering machine. You don't have time to strike them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armour, and holding a hilt with a sizzling invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. So you can trade blows with the giant. You can handle it for at least a strike or two. Duck under the giant's swing and attack before he can strike. Fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. Yeah, because like that invisible sword sounds pretty bad. Like, okay, the memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing. It's true, but the invisible blade of his companion is more worrisome still. The energy field that flickers and waves around it suggests that she can carve matter at a molecular level, tearing pieces of her target into nothingness. If you're to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She's stuck behind the giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes rove behind you. Her focus is on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you drive your dagger up under her chin. You catch her before the deadly blade drops onto you and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant and he topples bisected. The immediate threat ended. You're focused on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and you rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. So you can hurl yourself against the door and knock them to the ground, crack the door open and sneak past them, or charge through them, counting on your defences to protect you. I'm going to sneak past them. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly. The sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push again, squeezing yourself through the narrow opening, and creep down the blood-stained hall. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Yeah! Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometres around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see a frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. Yes, okay. Wow, that's been 27 minutes already, folks. We've not even had any combat yet, we've just been stuck in this one room. Oh, is this... Oh, it's a total doorway. Right, okay. Oh, it's a mirror. Okay. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with dizzying number of interlocked symbols, daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid, and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orb, and the choices you made, shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, as though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and a slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. So I can point at the doppelganger moving cautiously through the crowd. I can point at the doppelganger tinkering with mechanical device, point at the doppelganger with a mystical symbol on its brow, or point at the doppelganger observing all the others, or step away from the mirror. The one observing all the others, that, like, it says it's what you might become, so, like, is this your class choice then? So stealthily, like, cautiously and stealthily, like, that's like thief, like tinkerer, sort of like mechanical minded guy, mage. Observing all the others might just be a balance of them all, but like I would like to, I think I'd like to go, the mechanical one sounds pretty cool, even though I usually go rogue, like a like a stealthy kind of character, that like being able to mess around with like mechanics and things like that sounds pretty good. Like I don't want to be like an amalgam of all of them. I don't want to have my points just spread out. I'd rather focus on one thing and like build an actual character out of it rather than just be a blank slate. So we'll go like, yeah, I'm not so much a mage guy, and I do the rogue all the time, so we'll go the mechanical device one. Coming forward, the doppelganger shows you the 19-sided object it was working on. The device has no less than 100 buttons and levers, with a few muttered words and with a few muttered words and a series of precise movements. It successfully activates the device. A sphere of bulging air shoots high into the reflected air. A sphere of bulging air shoots high into the reflected air and explodes into clouds of serrated flower petals. The crowd of doppelgangers hoots and cheers. Bowing, the doppelganger pockets the device and waits for your decision. Yes, this is who I am. Or I want to consider other choices. Yes, this is who I am. Oh, it must be loading. Yeah, it's loaded. It says not responding at the top of my window. There you go. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, waking and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell if bells could rot. This place, your mind, is under attack. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Untroubled, your chosen identity steps out of the rippling glass and into you, filling you, making you whole. So we've got 5 might, 2 speed and 2 intellect. So I'm assuming this is going to be like a fighter kind of guy then. So mechanical. Right, okay. The mirror fades, leaving a dark open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. Whew. Oh, what a cool intro! Mac, you can hear my computer. It's totally going nuts. Right, okay. Whoa. The pinprick of light that you followed in the dark passage suddenly opens wide. There was no sense of transition. One step you were in the dark, the next you were here. You're in some kind of mystic laboratory. Machines gleam all around you. Seemingly incomprehensible data swirling around them like motes of light. 5 large tanks stand out, each one containing a different shadowy form, none of them human. A spectral figure stands up in front of you. Everything about the Spectre seems dreamlike. That's the Spectre there, right, okay. He is a hazy silhouette of green glass smoke, wearing stylish, well-cut clothes. His jade eyes are fixed on you. His handsome, bearded face seems hauntingly familiar, though to the best of your recollection, you've never seen him before. He claps you warmly on the shoulders. Skist, you've made it. Listen, I know you've got a dozen questions, but we're not through the worst yet. If you want to survive, you have to attune yourself. It's a process that, well, it's hard to explain, but I'll walk you through it. Okay, who are you? Earlier did you say we were in my mind? Why are we in a hurry? Alright, so how do I get attuned? Right, okay, there's no time. Yeah, it's hard to explain. I have to walk through it. We've got to survive. So, okay. You know something? I'm going to quickly save, just in case, because like it sounds like something's coming after me. Okay, so we'll call this one Prime. Save game. Okay. Alright, so how do I get attuned? You see all the tanks here, each one's got a creature in it that's attuned to one of the tides. You need to attune to them, and that'll attune you to each tide. I tried it myself while I was waiting on you, but I couldn't do anything except watch them. I suppose that means this is your show. They're in stasis, it's in kind of a temporal loop. I think all you need to do is join them, hook your mind up with theirs, and make a decision for them that ends the loop. You should do what you want, by the way, not what they want. That's the whole point of this thing, to define you, okay? Alright, I'm ready. So, can we go over to this? Nope, okay. Okay, the cables spilling from this machine vibrate steadily, carrying something to the creature's tank nearby. The tank contains a humanoid with a skull-like head. A name arises from your inherited memories. This is a Nevagen, a creature of relentless, overpowering curiosity. Tendrils of luminescent data snake from the tank and stream into your temples. The room fades in flaring strips as you enter the mind of the creature in this tank and see what it sees. Folks, like, that's been like 35 minutes already. I don't know how long we've got to go before... Like, didn't get me wrong, like, the story, I'm loving reading this story, but I don't know if there's any other gameplay to show you at the moment. Like, I'm not sure if there's going to be, like, combat or anything like that. But it's been 35 minutes, and I think I'm going to call the video there. I don't know if I'm going to do another episode. I might do, like, I might just record another episode, like, but as it stands right now, we'll call this a You've Got 5 Minutes, and if I do more, then we'll add it to, like, some sort of playlist or something, okay? So, but yeah, that was Torment, Tides of Numenera. This seems really interesting. I'm really, really interested into seeing where this goes, because, like, it's one of the things, like, it kind of feels like, well, it doesn't feel like Final Fantasy VII, but it's like, you know, like, when you start, like, if you've ever played Final Fantasy VII, when you start it, you're like a blank slate. Like, you don't know what's going on. You have no idea. All you know is that you're on a mission to bomb this place, and that's it. Like, you have no idea about the characters, you have no idea about the motivations or the past or anything like that. This is what that's like. It feels like you're sort of building this blank slate up and giving it a character, you know? It has this sort of overwhelming backstory that's going to get explained later, you know? But yeah, okay, so that was Torment, Tides of Numenera. If there is going to be a next episode, I'll see you next time. If not, I'll see you in the next episode of You Got 5 Minutes. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye. And, oh, by the way, sorry again about the background noise. Bye.